What's going on, everybody? Mike here. If you'd like to join the ever-growing Fly Casual community, please take a moment right now to subscribe to our channel and share with a friend.
What's back, girly mons? We are with Fly Casual because that's right. Tonight you have tuned in for a very special episode of Fly Casual because Fly Casual is going to Bollywood. That's right. You don't want to stick around because it's going to get a little wacky up in here, but it's also going to get pretty serious, awkwardly, and at random. And who knows, maybe we'll break into a musical interlude right before the second interval starts. Bollywood terms. Welcome back to Fly Casual.
Let's get ready to wrinkle!
From here, I can actually see that the recording light is on. Finally, Mike has coughed.
Yep.
Howie is still pushing dials around, things like that, but I think we have successfully actually initiated a podcast. It only took us 250-some
Oh, my gosh.
episodes to figure it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're going to be up to like 4:30 this morning.
That's right. Strap in.
I don't know. This episode might be like 10 minutes long.
No. Well, the last part.
Yeah.
Yep.
The last half.
That's right. Because we are actually, tonight, we're going to be talking about...
Girly mud.
I don't remember the lyric.
They did say Ovaltine in there, yes.
It does. If you look up the version of the Girly Man song, which is a thriller, a Bollywood thriller knockoff, and read the English subtitles of the phonetic sounds of the lyrics, it's pretty entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't lying. I had three or four paddle pop that night. Yeah. Ha ha ha.
Huh?
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the proprietor of this slum dog millionaire.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's coming. They're coming fast and heavy tonight, my boy.
Right.
They're coming something.
Mr. Corey T. Wilson. Over there on the left, drinking what is not iced tea. I'm drinking iced tea. Mike looks like he's drinking iced tea, but I'm sure it's not because it's Mike. Mr. Michael J. Archibald.
Jaeger bombs tonight, baby.
It looks like iced tea. It looks like a thick, well-steeped tea.
It does.
It's a stout tea.
But I guarantee it is not pure leaf. Not this version.
Oh, not pure leaf.
No, not tonight. I need some alcohol, but a pick-me-up at the same time.
He's drinking the skunk tea is really what he's drinking.
Yeah, that's what Elvis said right before he went to the John.
Alcohol and a pick-me-up.
Yeah, he's like, man, I need some uppers and some downers, man.
Yeah, bring me my pills, baby. Hey.
Shit on this girl. That's how the king went, man.
The king died upon his throne.
He started just singing to himself in the ghetto, farted and died.
In the ghetto.
Oh, man.
In the ghetto. Mama cry. I just love the whole image of him singing his own music right before he has a fart attack.
See, I never imagined it that way. I always imagined that it was a cold night.
And the sea was so cold it scared him to death.
It shocked him into cardiac arrest.
Oh, dang it.
Oh. Oh, dang.
Yeah, because Elvis is like Boomhauer. He just,
Interesting fact, Elvis's last concert was actually here in Indy. So that's our claim to fame. We killed Elvis.
We killed Elvis. There you go. We fed him whatever got lodged in his colon and killed him.
That's right.
You know, on that, you're right.
We know how to eat.
He ended at Market Square, but
not poop.
Quick funny story. My on that same tour, he came through Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
And my mom.
Give me one of them dry pork tenderloins. That'll move right through.
My mom begged my dad to take her to Elvis, and he's like, we'll just go see him next time he comes through. She loves telling that story.
Man,
I'm
never going to hear the end of this one.
Maybe you'd still be alive if you went.
Why?
Oh, man. She could have seen him like cracking up in the middle of what was a song? It wasn't
Baby Got Back.
It wasn't.
That was not Elvis's. No.
Oh,
it wasn't.
That
Fool's
is not
Rush
true,
In.
Howie.
It was one of his songs. Oh man, they did
What, in the ghetto?
No, they did an episode of Garrick. Was it Revisionist History?
Can't help falling in love. Was that?
It might have been it, but it was. Yeah, wise men say only fools. I don't.
No, you're singing Fools Rush.
I don't know
again.
if it was Fools Rush In, but one of his
I
ballads.
swear it's Baby Got Back.
There's an episode of Revisionist History, and it's great because it's
Howie's
about
right.
how he could not
I
ever
like big
get
butts
through
and
the
I cannot
song.
lie.
He would mess up the lyrics. He would start cracking up like a maniac in the middle of the song.
Oh, I want to
And-
hear those outtakes.
Oh, they got him.
Oh,
They're in the episode. Yeah, Revisionist History, wonderful podcast. Wonderful podcast. Yeah,
Nice.
definitely tune into that one.
It's their own revision of history.
Fuck those fly casual guys. Go check out these other guys.
Hey. There are many hours in the week.
Oh,
It's usually
If
only
you're
the
not
one guy.
spending them
No.
all watching movies
Bollywood,
Garrick
yeah.
tells you to
Our
watch.
library is
let's-
big enough now.
No, we'll wait.
Yeah, understood. We have a lot to say.
I
but
wanna say, but we'll wait.
Yeah, okay, so over there waiting, Master Control, Mr. Stephen J.
I have my tea,
Yes.
and it is tea because I love myself.
I also have tea, and it is tea because I also love Howie.
See?
But my tea is home brewed.
I see.
Howie's tea is that store bought nonsense.
It's homebrewed somewhere.
Yeah, it is.
Hey.
Never from powder. It's real tea.
It's
Never from
it's
powder.
purely-
It is freshly brewed.
Never from powder is not a selling point to me. It's a disgusting concept. Hey, this ain't made from powder. Whoa.
It tells you what all the other teas are that you would buy.
They're all made from powder.
They're all
like Nest tea.
they're made from
Yep.
powder, not leaves.
Gross.
Cocaine.
Cocaine leaves.
This was steeped in
Cocaine.
family
The cocaine.
family scale tea bags.
And it's going to make me doubly great.
Double
Yeah,
great,
tea bag.
double super great.
Double super
You know
great.
who else is double super great?
Mr. Garrick, not Jay Hardy, cross the pond down a few.
Oh, thanks, guys.
He was not going to say that. Corey just butted in. So
Hey, speaking of lyrics. Speaking of lyrics, you guys want to hear some lyrics to the Girly Man song?
Yes.
Oh no!
Please
Okay,
read
here
us.
we go.
Read
You
us and read us in a Shatner monotone.
All right. Girly man, woot, I'm coming. Mutton goes yay.
Exactly.
Cook the Chicanos day.
Oh,
Mucho caliente.
That's true. These are the phonetic lyrics of
really
Grey
wasn't
Man.
Shatner. It was more
Well, it's like a Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken.
I can't do
A
anything.
little bit of both, maybe.
Hi.
if they had a baby.
I eat wasabi on my dude. All my body just got ruled.
Now I
kinda
want
like
you
a
to read
fish
some more as
on the road.
Harrison Ford.
Oh, Papa's restaurant. Oh, you'll be pumping Ovaltine or salty shanty one-shot tea.
That's right. Yep.
them are some lyrics.
Those are some hot lyrics. Now, just
I love
imagine
these
that
lyrics. These are great.
to a sped up version of Thriller, which is what's happening in the background. You're not nearly fast enough. You're like now you're Bollywooding, buddy.
Yeah, speaking of
Yeah, now
Bollywood,
you
I
got
think
it.
it's what you've been deucing.
What
What you been deucing?
That's actually accurate. What are
What are
we
you
been
doing
doing?
while you're deucing?
Well, I'll tell
Good
you.
thing Elvis isn't here. 'Cause he wasn't deucing, which is
That's
why
right.
he died.
He got shocked in the
Wah,
cardiac
wah.
arrest. I'm telling you, it was the cold.
No, dude, his colon seized up because he was taking so many pills that he had no liquid in his systems. He died of being full of poop.
He was all.
That's true. He was all
He was
stopped
all
up. He was
hard
trying to
and-
move
oh.
something out, and it just his body went
He was
son.
all septic and
Yeah,
man.
Oh,
He was his own
gross,
septic
guys.
tank.
Terrible.
like-
This is the king we're talking
it's like
about.
his in
is the
utero
king.
twin
The
that he
king
devoured reached
of
inside
being
his
backed
body
up.
and plugged it up to kill him in revenge.
He is
We're
the
going deep cut on
CEO.
Elvis right
Hey,
now.
remember we said we
Of
got to
Dookies.
separate the artist
No
from the
Dookies.
art, right? We talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Hey, I love my king, man. I love my
Well, the
king.
king obviously couldn't separate himself from something.
Who in this room has actually been to Graceland, man?
Hey,
This
not
guy
me.
right here.
Not me.
This guy right here. I've been right through Graceland, man.
Why would you do that?
I remember being in Graceland and being like,
Why are you
"Whoa,
proud of that?
He had 3 TVs in the same room.
Wow.
And I'm in a room with a monitor that's twice the size of any of his TVs, and a monitor
Cell
over there that's
phone.
1.5 the size of any of his TVs.
An iPad.
7 more monitors that aren't even hooked up because who cares? But back then,
You're
in
like
the,
Elvis.
back then in the 80s, I was like, 3 TVs. inches. Whoa.
19 inches.
Yeah, they seriously were
And they're
about
all
19
color.
inches. No, they weren't.
High five.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Graceland, man.
What are you DOCKET-sizing on, Corey?
Oh.
Yeah, Corey.
Besides the Kang.
What about the deuce-sizing?
the Kang?
Don't do me yet. I hadn't.
I know what I've been dockerizing.
Yeah,
What
do
do you
that.
been
Oh,
Dockerizing?
Howie knows.
I watched the first episode of Picard.
Really?
I did too.
Me too.
And
We all just finished our docker.
I did not.
Yeah.
So
That was
and
not what I was docking.
That
Is
is a good first episode.
it's
Yeah.
clearly run by a different group of people than are running Discovery.
Yep.
From what I hear, I never watched Discovery because I heard firsthand that I shouldn't.
Firsthand,
See,
I
now,
told myself.
I gotta say this is interesting because the internet has been hating on some Picard, and I don't know why.
Have they?
They
I didn't
have.
know.
Well,
It's only
I
been
don't know.
24 hours or so.
Internet hates everything.
Patrick
They
Stewart
do, man. I gotta
is-
ignore the internet.
Amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is.
But he is absolutely amazing.
He is,
Yeah.
honestly.
He is amazing, and I want to keep saying that because it's fun to watch these two.
Yeah, Mike and I furiously pantomime each other.
Yeah, because
Yeah, no, everything's resolved.
Volumes.
Everything's fine here. How are you?
Everything's all good here.
Patrick Stewart is amazing.
International treasure.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
for real is, and he is not. I mean, he's obviously gotten older, right, guys?
That's why he's on my
My
list.
mother
but-
looks up and goes, "He's still doing this? He needs to retire." And I'm like, "Mom, it's the first episode of a new series. It's not like they're still doing them."
Yeah, but he is not, in my opinion, has not lost a beat.
No
For the
way.
record, my mommy was visiting. I don't live with my. Just saying.
Yeah, whatever.
whatever.
Just
Thanks
saying,
for clarification.
No, she lives with you.
Sure.
Whatever, Corey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And on all the 7 little girls also live here. We had a birthday party. Like,
Whatever, Corey.
Oh, gross.
Corey, why did you invite 7 little girls to your birthday party?
I wonder that every
because
day.
it's not every day my mama's big boy turns 40. Thank you very much.
You are a big boy too, aren't you?
and those girls were not little. Okay, they were.
They were stripper
It was
size.
funnier when they were
stripper
actually
size.
the real children that were actually here. Stripper sized.
Wait, what?
There's a size? Because I've been to a club or two that is definitely operating with some wide boundaries in either direction. So Picard's good.
Yeah.
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 We got some. I don't want to spoil anything because it
No.
obviously just came out in the last 24
No.
hours.
Okay,
but
don't spoil, but what did you tell me when I came here?
because Mike, you're not a huge Star Trek.
I am
fan.
not a Star Trek guy.
And I said, hey, Blade Runner
Boo.
guy.
Blade, yeah.
There's a lot of Corellians
I said,
in
hey,
this.
Blade Runner guy, you're going to want to watch Picard
Really?
because
Oh,
it's,
yeah, that's true.
Looks like it's pretty much shaping up to be Star Trek Blade Runner.
It really is.
That didn't occur to you? It hit me right
kinda
away.
Cool, man.
No,
I
actually,
gotta
what hit
say.
me is it's more like Star Trek Dune. Well, before Dune, and they had the
Before Dune, it's like
Valerian
after
Jihad.
Okay, so
Smash.
answer me this. I know there's been a lot of Star Trek, right? A lot of different series.
Yep.
Next Generation is the furthest in the future, right? I mean, the
No.
furthest in the
they're all in the
timeline.
future.
I know they're in the future on the timeline,
No.
on the Star Trek timeline. Okay.
Yeah.
Even
kind
the
of.
one in the
What do you mean
past
by
was in the
future?
future.
Actually, it is the third
Mike,
earliest.
that is the dumbest.
No, including
question.
Oh my
Discovery,
gosh.
it's the
now you
fourth
guys are
earliest.
freaking me out. Okay, never mind. I regret
Next
asking the
Generation
question.
is pretty much right in the middle. You have Enterprise, the original
Yes,
series.
right.
Enterprise, Discovery, the original series,
Okay.
Next Generation,
Yes.
Deep Space Nine,
Oh.
Voyager,
Mhm.
and now Picard. So it's right in the middle.
Yep.
And
But
Picard
then
is
you
the
have-
furthest down.
And that's not including all the books.
Picard is the furthest in the future.
So Next
not
Generation and the other
including-
2 or 3 are, I mean, they're pretty much real close to each other.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like
Not
100
including
years in the future.
subspace time anomalies where they go to the future.
Okay, stop.
Yeah.
You guys are going to lose
every
me for
every
All
time
right.
Geordi plugs the chronotons into the deflector
Now we
dish.
got to talk about where the movies fall in between each.
Oh, God.
The
All right.
series.
No.
All right, wait. I need to do a line of below if I'm going to get through that.
1 through 6 take place between the original
And Next
and
Generation.
the Next Generation.
Crap.
Generations is kind of both.
Yep.
Next Generation.
That's why they
it's
call it
straddled.
I've seen that
Generation.
movie, actually. I know what you're
so
talking
that,
about.
that kind of merges them, I guess, somewhat. And then what's after that? Like First Contact is after
Yep.
the series is over.
And then the worst one, I don't remember the name of
Insurrection.
Yeah. And then
Insurrection. No, we're missing one, right?
No,
is there one between First Contact and Insurrection?
Nope. No, there was not. So it's First Contact, Insurrection, and then Nemesis.
I like Nemesis.
I do too. People rag on Nemesis so hard. I like it.
I'm going to put this
on
my reminders list.
And JJ rebooted everything.
Yeah.
Well, JJ, yeah. You know.
Yeah, he made a good movie, a not so good movie, and then they made a trash movie. Pretty great.
Pretty great.
But yeah,
pretty
the Picard is enjoyable.
I'm going to give it a shot on your recommendation.
Guess what? Picard's in it.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
I would hope so.
And
did you guys see The View?
Yeah, I didn't, but I read about it.
Okay.
It's a show with a bunch of women who get mad at each other a lot.
And
yeah, but Whoopi's on there.
Is going to be on season 2. Yes.
He officially invited her to come back as Guinan.
It was amazing. Like, she was almost in tears.
That's what I heard. That's what I
might actually have to go and
I'm gonna have to YouTube
to watch that because
just watch that clip. The rest of the show.
But I'm sorry,
I can't vouch for
the whole thing they set up between Picard and Guinan. Okay, I was not a Next Generation fan when the show was on. The first time I watched it was actually the final episode, and I was dialing around. I didn't even know, and I watched it when it was airing. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. All this back and forth. And that got me to start watching it in syndication. And the Guinan Picard thing is never explained. Ever.
Kind of.
Well, okay, no, they start to. They give you hints. But they never
you see the one where he goes back in time and hangs out with Mark Twain?
Yes.
And Guinan's there?
Yeah, Guinan. Okay, yeah, she's old. We know she's hundreds of years old. We know that. Yeah. She's got like a hundreds of years old kid who's still a kid. But but yeah, they never fully explain. I mean, the content of the relationship, because they always said they're more than friends, but it wasn't romantic necessarily. Maybe it was, but they never explained it.
She gave him advice all the time.
She did. Great. Because they were more
She was a bartender, right? That's what bartenders do.
Yeah, exactly.
But she was also a hundreds of years old bartender who was really
like
good
Sam,
at it.
Right? Sam Malone of Star Trek.
She's like a couple hundred Sams.
That's right.
All the Sams.
All the Sams.
From all the seasons.
And she dated Sam Malone.
That's true. I always forget that they were a big Hollywood couple for a while.
A thing until he came out in blackface one time and they're like, whoops,
we screwed up.
Never mind.
Shh, we don't talk about Ted Danson in blackface anymore.
And now he's in that one show as a demon.
The Good Place. A reformed demon. Maybe.
He is a reformed demon.
He's better now. He's good now.
As far as we know.
It's all good.
Any episode could throw that right out the window. So anyway, Picard good.
Yeah.
Garrick, what you tweaking your nipples
you? Yeah, that's why I'm tweaking. I'm tweaking you.
Do you like that show? Is it any good?
I don't know what it is.
Corey's nipples are worth tweaking.
No,
you.
It's a show. It's a show called You.
I thought, okay, never mind.
YOU.
I mean, that hurts a lot.
So I wasn't going to watch the show, right? But then
I hadn't planned on it.
At New Year's, and Andy, I don't know if he listens.
Andy Dufresne.
We play Overwatch with Andy all the time.
Friend of the show, Andy.
His wife's cousin is in the second season, I guess. So she recommended it to me. So I decided to watch it, and I have completed it within a few days. And it's interesting. You guys know what it's about?
I have never even heard of this show.
It's about you.
Okay, so where can we find this said show?
This is on Netflix. Now, I didn't know this going in, but I guess originally it premiered on Lifetime.
Oh, heaven.
Okay,
you're really not selling it.
Which it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have the feel of a Lifetime show. So when I read that, I was really taken aback.
Sounds like.
But basically, it's about this main guy. His name is Joe, and he gets obsessed with
you
girls, like specifically one girl, you. So he always calls her you. You know. So he's kind of a psycho, and he has that kind of like a Dexter feel to it. I don't know if you guys ever watched Dexter. Got it. Yeah, but it's interesting how they play him off. He's a real nice guy usually, except when he thinks his relationship's being threatened.
Oh no!
And then he becomes a serial killer,
like all the guys on Lifetime. Okay, yeah, Lifetime.
Yeah, so it's interesting. The acting I thought was pretty good, and the story is great. It kept me like entrapped because you want to root for the guy, but then you feel really bad because he's a horrible, horrible person. Even though he's like super nice. Like he has this neighbor kid who's, I guess, his wife or his mom's boyfriend beats her all the time.
Yeah.
And so he's always taking the kid under his wing, trying to, hey, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. So you're like, oh yeah, he's a real nice guy. But then in the next scene, he's like killing somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I liked it. Andy's wife, Nicole's cousin, did a really good job, I thought, in season 2. So,
Well, there you go. You can't get a bigger recommendation than that.
yeah, it's interesting.
I've
If you like
never heard of this
psychological thrillers where, people get killed violently.
Well,
Good.
I mean, when you elevator pitch it like that, it sounds like it's right in my wheelhouse. So.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, look into it. Mine. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to go for mine now.
Go.
It won't take much. It won't take much time because
We'll go for Corey.
talked about it quite a bit in other terms. But I finally watched The Joker. Finally.
Oh, all right.
Finally.
The movie?
One of the many movies that I desperately wanted to get out and see in theaters and didn't this year. Very, very behind, but now enjoying a lovely video season because there's so many great movies lined up.
All right. So I'm interested to hear.
yeah.
What do you think?
I liked it a freaking ton.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife didn't like it that much. She was cool with it, but
It's intense, man.
it's intense and
Really
it's
intense.
It doesn't let up at all.
No.
It doesn't give you any breathing room.
Not much.
No, yeah. And
No happy parts.
yeah,
at
like
all.
that's the other thing. The pace doesn't really change. It kind of goes and
Yeah.
keeps going in the same direction. So I think,
down.
first off, my wife has no appreciation for the Batman mythos at
No,
all. I would
sure.
say if there is a superhero that she could potentially watch, it's Batman. Like,
Because it's grounded in real life. She doesn't like
It's
the
more-
fantastical.
yeah,
right?
she doesn't like
Were you
fantastic.
hitting her on the shoulder? Like, hey, this Batman. This Batman.
Yeah,
this Batman.
I was being so obnoxious. I'm like, I'm literally turned. I'm like, well, this is rolling harder in the mythos than I thought it would, honey. Hey, is that
It's Bruce Wayne.
Alfred?
It's Bruce Wayne.
He probably shouldn't rough him up. He has SS training, or not S, the British Secret Service.
He's got training.
Yeah, he could probably
OSS?
kill him. OSS,
That's the old
thank you.
the old school one.
Yeah, but all that stuff. Like I was
MIA.
actually really surprised.
MI6. That's what it is.
Well, MI6 is what it would be now. I don't know. Actually, I almost would have liked it more if they hadn't gone anywhere near the Batman mythos and just left it all up to question. But I get why Hollywood would never abandon it completely. The thing is, Thomas Wayne was a dick.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah,
He was
that's actually-
terrible.
That's kind of one of the this movie deconstructed everything
Yeah,
for
no,
me.
and I appreciate it as a deconstruction, but at the same time, Thomas Wayne was supposed to be a
know.
freaking saint.
Sure.
But it obviously makes sense. Oh yeah, he's remembered as a saint. He's martyred as a saint. Blah, blah,
Sure.
blah. And I'm just kind of
Right.
like, but I like the he was a rich guy saint. And that's
Sure.
why that's what makes his death more tragic. Is
Sure.
because he was one of the good 1%ers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that
See,
I
didn't
have a problem with
I
it,
didn't
but
go quite down that far down the rabbit hole. I still see him as he was a good guy, but I think what the movie tried to show was that even the good guys have got their stuff.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
and I get it. Like, let's say he completely had his nose clean. He felt like his kids threatened. You're gonna punch somebody.
Sure,
Feel like
right.
your kid's threatened. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I kind of get it in that regard. And also, he did tell him the truth. I mean, I don't want to spoil things
Sure.
for people who haven't seen the film, but he was truthful in what he said. So I don't know. It was also intriguing that they did that. So
Sure.
that movie was hella good. Hella good. And
To me,
kinda
it's very thought-provoking, man. That's why I like it.
Why can't other DC properties be, I don't know, thoughtful?
Yeah. Seriously.
Why can't they have anything like, I don't know,
Snyder.
good in them?
I think this is what I was trying to allude to when I was talking about this a month or so ago.
Yeah.
When, was that I don't see this as, I don't know if you can build on this and make a universe out of it. But if DC is, if the DCEU is fallen by the wayside,
Yeah.
why can't we do what you
If
just
you want
said?
to be dark and intense,
Right.
make it like this.
Sure. Right.
Don't just make dude bro dark and intense. Don't make the muscle shirt dark and intense.
Right.
That's just garbage.
Right.
I kind of don't want them to build a universe out of it.
I don't either.
Leave it either.
It's way better as a standalone.
Yeah.
I agree. And I'm kind of torn because I know they're looking at a sequel now. And I don't know how you do that.
I don't think it'll ever happen. If it did,
No.
I'll see it.
It made $1 billion. There's going to be a lot of pressure to make a sequel.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
I think it was so good and impactful because it was more realistic. Like there was no people flying around in capes and spoiler.
Sure.
No people running around in capes and cowls and like punching bad guys. It was like it was almost too real.
Well, it was almost too real, especially because of the current political situation where everybody gets situations where everybody gets inflamed on social media and stuff like that. This is kind of like a pre-social media because it takes place in the late 70s, early 80s during the garbage strikes and stuff like that in New York, even though this is Gotham. But like it was the whole thing where it was like an earlier version, a prenatal version of going viral. You know, what he does, like simultaneously his nervous containment goes viral and how bad of a comedian he is, but also his total cut loose and murder of somebody goes viral because people are just so sick of these Wall Street type, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And these two things collide. Both these things going viral in two different ways collide into what ends up becoming this thing that everyone just rallies and riots behind. And I'm like, I get why some really anal retentive people in the media were like, oh, it's going to cause a bunch of white dudes to just start killing everybody.
No, I don't.
And I'm like, starting? No. I'm like, I'm looking at that and I'm like, this is not about that. This is about racial class war. This is actually, to me, this would ring more to like the Bernie Bros. Especially the crazy ones, like the people who are like hardcore socialists. I'm like, that's more of what I'm getting from it. And I enjoy the shit out of it.
Right. That's the thing I liked about this too, because this was usually when you have to do politics in movies with, I don't know how to even say this. You have to do it artfully.
Right.
And it's hard to do it artfully because most people want to be ham-fisted about it.
Also, they want to punch it through quickly to move on with the story and all that.
This was done well.
Yes.
Because I don't think because I think sometimes, especially nowadays, filmmakers tend to really kind of push their point of view down your throat. And this, to me, left it pretty ambiguous.
I didn't feel like this was someone's point of view. I felt like someone was trying to artfully and intelligently write something that would come from something that the masses could be impacted by that's from literally one point of view, but that would ring true with
all the way around
the upset masses.
Thought-provoking.
Because it's literally depicting the garbagey version of New York that preceded all the cleanups and stuff like that happened throughout the 80s when New York used to be everything was covered in graffiti. Actually, this is a funny aside, there's all the graffiti and everything. There's graffiti all over the subway trains. I actually just saw an article today that said graffiti appearing in New York subways again.
Again?
I'm like, oh yeah, because they've kept it cleaned up for a long time. You know what I mean? But before that, New York was a crap hole. So instead of taking the whole corrupt Chicago version of Gotham, I kind of actually appreciated the dirty pre-improvement New York version of Gotham. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yep. It was, well done.
Anyhow,
well done.
What are you tweaking on, Mike?
All right. So
what's on your dockerisms?
I have been doing some comics lately, but not just your run-of-the-mills.
Like male and female comics?
I'm doing something a little bit different right now.
Oh, boy.
I am a fan.
Manga.
Canine comics?
I am a fan of Chuck Palahniuk. Do you know who Chuck
graphic
is?
Novel comic. Okay, I was way off.
Yeah, no, not your newspaper stuff.
Okay,
not the Sunday
Garfield.
Comics. Yeah, not Garfield.
No, I thought you were like banging Mitch Hedberg or something. Well, you have to dig him up first.
Oh, gotcha. Nope, sorry. Nope. Graphic novels. Yes. Yes. Chuck Palahniuk was
Fight Club.
The guy. Yes, Fight Club. That's right.
Okay.
So he wrote and produced Fight Club. I was a big fan of the movie. After the movie, I actually read the novel, and since then. Actually, a couple of years ago, he put out a series of graphic novels for Fight Club 2.
Yeah.
And just this past year, he put out Fight Club 3.
Fight Club 3!
Yeah. So I am enjoying those right now. Those are a lot. That's like, again, it's not your run of the mill, just your, hey, rah superhero type stuff. That's pretty straightforward. This is
tell me, does Tyler Durden come back?
Yes, Tyler Durden is back. Yeah.
Oh, he's back. I thought he got shot.
Well, considering he was imaginary, spoiler. Yeah, 20-year spoiler.
He kind of never left. Yeah. No, he was back in Fight Club 2.
Okay.
No, he shot him in the face.
Yeah, I know he did.
Well, he was less pretty when he came back.
Yeah. So actually, the novel was a little bit different than the movie, but they're both good.
Both good.
Anyway, so if you're up for something that's a little more thought-provoking, like this is a series that he just put out one a month for all of 2019. So I'm on like issue 7 right now.
Right.
I'm gonna have to read these all through one time, and then I'm gonna have to read them again to really absorb all this. And I like that. I like being challenged, and I know it's a graphic novel and it sounds goofy and whatnot, but actually I thought it was kind of cool that he's kind of doing this, because he is a novelist and he's a journalist and all that stuff. But I just thought it was really interesting that he went this route and decided to put out some graphic novels and doing it, a different way. So I don't know. It's fun.
I've told you guys a lot lately that I have trouble getting back into comics anymore.
Same.
But I feel like that's the kind of comic that I could sit down and really digest.
Yeah, it is. It's something that you don't absorb all of it the first time through.
Yeah.
So, and he's an interesting cat anyway, man. I've heard him on, I think he was on Rogan a year or two ago.
Oh, really?
And really got to know him on a more personal level. And he's got an interesting story. And he's one of those guys he's an author that's fearless. He's one of those guys that he does not bow to pressure. It's funny. He was actually telling a story on the Rogan podcast that he's always part of these writing groups and stuff. These guys that get together and just, kind of share what they're writing and doing and all that stuff. And
so what are you doing?
How many times he's been kicked out of these groups now recently because of cancel culture.
Oh yeah.
Because he's one of those guys that he doesn't pull punches. He just lays it out there, and just is not afraid to do that. And he's just basically saying that, these groups now that he's involved with, are getting more and more sensitive. And it's like, it's like, I can't be a free speech kind of just write whatever's on my mind, kind of thing with these people anymore. And just interesting. So anyway, he's thought provoking, he's provocative. And if you're interested in something like that,
what's funny, when provocative used to be an actual like pin on your lapel.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Back in the day.
It's trying to make its way back, man. There's some comedians that are really...
Yes. Some people are getting double woke.
Yeah.
Double super great woke. In the meantime, it's time for some news. News.
All right. We got just a couple of quick ones tonight. Hey, have you guys into the old Star Wars thing?
What's that? Tell me about this Star Wars thing.
Wait, is it like Blade Runner?
No, not like Blade Runner.
Is it like Dune?
It is not like Dune at all.
Does it have synths?
But they have spice.
They have spice. They do have spice.
A desert planet.
Right. That's true.
Does they got phasers?
Giant worm monsters.
They got lasers.
They got flying cars.
They got speeders.
I'm pretty sure the Tusken Raiders are Fremen.
The posh spice.
Do they have swords that specifically aren't laser or laser related?
They do. They're called dark sabers.
What? That sounds laser related to me.
Whoa.
Are we just at the dumb laugh cast now?
No, the big news this week is the Clone Wars Season 7 trailer has dropped.
Oh, that happened.
That happened. And you know what? So I like the Clone Wars. I enjoyed probably a quarter to a half of them. The episodes. There was a lot of episodes.
Am I channeling my thoughts through your mouth? Because that sounds like me talking.
Man, some of those episodes, I got to admit, were kind of hard to process, man, because not all of them
hard
were...
to process is not the phrase I would choose, just like to just be dumb and boring. I know. I'm trying to be politic here. That some people, and friends of ours that are religious about the Clone Wars, and I was like, sorry, y'all. I know I sound like the most backward Star Wars fan in the world, but it didn't get real till Rebels for me. There's good Clone Wars.
Right.
in
You're
a
so
sea of
backwards.
bad Clone Wars. You know, there was a couple of good episodes of Small Wonder, but I don't go recommending it to people.
Look, Clone Wars
not
is
the
one of those. I mean,
Small
those
Wonder.
were like 22 to 24 episode seasons, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
they're big ones.
there was lots of Clone Wars. So, yes,
yeah.
it always seemed like that there was just a little too much filler for my taste.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, the episodes,
75%, a little too much filler.
the episodes that hit well, man.
Yeah.
They did their job, man. So, you know, the Clone War, you know, the Clone Trooper stuff and the Jedi stuff, cool.
Yeah.
Jar Jar stuff and droid stuff,
I would
not
say
as much.
plenty of Clone Trooper stuff that also falls in the not so
Some of
much
it,
category.
yeah, some of
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, so this trailer drops, and I gotta say, I'm more excited for it
First
than
character
I
you see.
thought I would
First
be.
character you see Bo-Katan.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, right away.
Like
Which is
think
a
it all-
Rebels character,
Mhm.
right? We were not introduced to her until Rebels, so very
No,
interesting.
she's from the Clone Wars.
She was in the Clone
Yeah,
Wars.
she was.
Yep.
Not
Okay.
a big role,
I don't remember.
but yeah.
So
There she was in the Mandalorian arc.
okay, all right.
Maybe
Sort of
you've pushed
remember
those
that.
out of your memory
It's been a
because of
while,
the total
man.
shock of having the
It's-
good Mandalorian story completely spit on and crapped on by George Lucas and
It's
replaced
totes
with the
been a
bad Mandalorian
But
story.
I guess, well, not only was the trailer well done, and just go to YouTube and check it out for yourself if you haven't seen it. But I think that with Filoni heading this up, and the fact that I don't know if Lucas was the one that had the fluff, really pushed the fluff episodes or not. But I'm really hopeful that these are going to be really focused episodes. This is our last season. We got to get
and
to the
according
heart
to
of the
the trailer,
matter.
it will be Ahsoka full.
Very full of Ahsoka.
Like that
Maul-
trailer was
Maul-
we got
some
Maul and
Maul-
Ahsoka.
Delicious.
It looks like, Maul and Ahsoka are going to have some kind of standoff.
That's
So
crazy.
it is pretty crazy.
Is
Which-
it that crazy? I mean, they're literally within
Yes.
like 50 feet of each other in the episode of Rebels on Malachor. I'm just saying.
Truth.
That's in the future.
Yeah. No,
There was a lot of Maul in that.
Yeah.
There was a
Surprisingly,
lot
a
of
lot.
Whole lot of Maul.
I
It was like
I
the
don't know
Maul
how
of America.
you guys feel about this, but like Darth Maul, I'm sort of excited that they're kind of bringing him back, and there's like rumors that he
Again?
might be in some of the TV series and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know some people feel like, he's back, this is kind of, a little too much and fan service and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, why
He's
not, man?
already back.
He was a
He
cool.
was back in Clone Wars. He was back in Rebels. He was back in Solo.
I know.
Let's just color in the rest of the picture,
I mean, he
Yeah.
was a cool
He-
character, so why not use him?
Yeah.
So I'm all about it, personally. I don't know how you guys feel. So I'm
Yeah,
excited
I'm
for
all
this
about it.
season.
I'm pro.
Yeah.
I'm pro.
I'm all on the
Why
Maul
not?
train.
Mm-hmm.
Maul train. Woo woo.
I say
I'm
let's,
pro mall cop.
let's just maul it out. Let's maul
I'm Paul
maul it up.
Blart. Paul Blart.
I'm Paul
Maul.
Blart Maul.
Maul.
All right. So I had one other, before we get into our main topic tonight, I had one other Star Wars piece of news.
I am all Spencer's gifts up.
Oh
in Maul.
my, guys.
I'm
What?
like pennies in the fountain. Maul.
Obi-Wan Series.
What?
I am Sparrow Maul. That's how Maul I
You need
am.
to back this train up and listen to my Obi-Wan news here, buddy.
I am broken escalator Maul.
All right.
Whoa.
No,
They
no,
just
no.
become stairs.
I'm the mall that no one goes to anymore because of the new mall.
Oh.
Is how Mall
So,
I am.
so you're just like a finish line store.
And a bunch of secondhand stores.
Yeah.
And one small local theater, like local live production theater.
And a Dippin' Dots kiosk for some reason.
Yep. Well, it's not. It says Dippin' Dots on it, but
Oh,
all they sell in it are the popsicle brand double popsicle stick things and push
For
pops.
$5 a pop.
Yep.
All right. Hollywood Reporter.
I am local boxing rink that is
We have a lot of episodes
where they
to
have
cover
to
tonight,
remove
and
part of the
next
drop
week.
ceiling
We should get
so
moving.
that the boxers don't hit their heads on it when they're up in the ring. Mall. That's how mall I am.
That's Maul as F.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Victoria's Secret Mall.
Mm-hmm. I'm nobody even stops the kid from skateboarding in the mall.
Whoa.
Brown tiles. That's how mall I am.
Must
I'm
have-
throw your penny in the fountain mall.
Mm-hmm. That's
Oh,
pretty
it's that little plastic funnel. Put it in there, and it just drops right down because it's broken.
That is mall as all get mall. Hey, Mike, what's going on in the news?
Obi-Wan
Let me tell you how mall I
Kenobi.
am.
Obi-Wan Kenobi in the news this week, boys.
Oh, boy.
Ooh, I like Obi-Wan.
I bet it's good news.
He's like my third or fourth favorite Jedi.
It might not be all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows in Lucasfilm land right now.
Wait. Now just wait. Are you meaning to tell me that there could ever be a speed bump in the production of a thing for Lucasfilm?
I'm meaning to tell you that it's the same old at Lucasfilm right now.
Yep, Mandalorian was a fluke. You heard it here first, folks.
Hollywood Reporter reporting this week, Obi-Wan Kenobi series on hold.
What?
As calls go out for new scripts.
That's the thing. And then Ewan McGregor goes on TV and he's like, no, we were never going to start filming until, later this year. No, they're not. They've gone from summer production.
All right. Yes. So they were going to start in August this year, August 2020.
And releasing them in 2020.
Whoa.
That I'm not. No, they're claiming that they have the same release date. The film dates have have.
Either way, they've gone from summer to next year.
What Hollywood Reporter is stating is that they were scheduled to start filming in August of 2020. They are now pushing that off to January of 2021.
Whoa,
a year from
not
now.
Bad.
They are stating that Ewan McGregor and Deborah Chow are still on board.
Yay!
They have not been let go. I would assume that there would be problems if Ewan McGregor had been let go, but apparently there are some problems with the scripts. And
how do they get this far along and now say we need to start over with the scripts?
Because this is classic. I don't know. So of course,
we know how. This is not a new thing.
So of course, all the Lucasfilm critics are going crazy right now.
The Phantom Menace, with the remaining the barely alive corpse of the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
it's saying, "Yep, typical." Kathleen Kennedy's got to go.
But I can't blame them for this.
I can't either. I don't,
because
I want to say, hey guys, don't be dicks about it. But at the same time, I'm like,
they're not wrong.
Somebody's got to be a dick.
They're not wrong. So here's the problem. To me, it's the typical ready, shoot, aim crap, right? So what did they do last year? Some point, at what was it, Celebration or something? They carted out D23 or something. Yeah,
one of that thing.
Kathleen Kennedy's on stage, and all of a sudden Ewan comes out, and everybody's going crazy. Ewan's back. Ewan's back. Yeah, all that stuff. So, but of course, in classic Lucasfilm style, apparently they didn't really have any scripts or anything. Maybe they had some ideas, but they didn't have anything in writing because they've decided. Apparently, this is according to insiders. Disney has not commented on this. The only thing official from Disney is that the production has been moved back to 2021. So,
good. Now we've got more time to worry if it'll ever happen.
According to these sources, though, they've completely scrapped everything and they're starting over.
Yeah, square one.
And not only that, and this I was most disappointed with, they have switched from a 6-episode season to a 4-episode season.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yep.
4?
Yes.
Meaning it'll be roughly the length of a movie.
I am supremely disappointed in this.
Especially if it's Mandalorian length episodes, and it will be less than the length of a movie.
And here's the main crux of it, because what these insiders are saying, again, none of this is confirmed, so take it with a grain of salt, but what they're
literally
saying
everyone is saying
that these scripts were too similar to Mandalorian. That it was, it's Obi-Wan watching out after Luke, which is, Mandalorian watching out after Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
So, Baby Yoda.
Luke.
Woo.
Which I'm just like.
They have got to call me. I'm telling you guys, the Obi-Wan and Owen buddy cop series has to happen. Lars and Juan.
Look,
Lars and Kenobi together.
We're joking here, but to me, this is.
I'm not. It's a good opportunity.
This is wide open to me. I don't know why in the world they think all they have to do is make Obi-Wan look after Luke.
If that's what the scripts were, they were
stupid. I mean, to me, that's an episode or two.
So
you know what I mean?
Far off. Yeah, tops. They were so far off of what they have. They were so unaware of the opportunity, which is what we've seen.
I mean, nobody. I mean, okay, yes, he banishes himself to Tatooine to watch over Luke, but who the hell
and
says
then
he
never went to the bathroom again for 18 years?
Right. It's like, who says he can't leave the planet for crying out loud? And
I could really go for a drink, but this kid,
it's so
keeps
dumb.
Keeps getting into trouble.
It just makes me want to pull my hair out, man. They've got this great talent. I mean, we know Deborah Chow is proven. We know.
Oh yeah.
Ewan McGregor is
18
proven.
years of Obi-Wan just sitting on a little mound of sand, holding it in. I wish I could whittle, but I'd have to look at what I'm doing. But you know what?
The thing of it is, if the Mandalorian has shown us anything, it's that you can expand upon and do different genres, right? In Star Wars, and
we know that, and I think the creators of the show know that, but the production company still doesn't know it's B from a hole.
Apparently Disney and the higher ups at Lucasfilm, I don't know. Don't know their ass from their elbow,
they've done some reshuffling. We know they've done some restructuring, but there still isn't a visionary at the tip of the cup.
Obviously. I mean, this just is so.
I hate ragging on KK. We've gone over time again what she is, what she's obviously very capable of, and what we don't know that she's very capable of. I don't even want to say her name really, but there's the creative vision at the top cannot. It just must not be involved.
I mean, there was for a while there some people were saying that she was really has been removed from the day-to-day operation, and that they're injecting a Favreau, or they're injecting a Feige or a Filoni, whatever, right. Which if this is the case, obviously that's not true. I mean, obviously she's still part of this. I mean, these are the same types of problems.
Other people could be just as bad at this.
This is the same shit that we've had since almost day one.
But I mean, you can't just throw new people at a solution and expect it to go better. That's what she did. That's what she's done, is just throw new people into Star Wars.
Or can you?
I don't know, man.
I mean,
to me, this is
it works sometimes.
Supremely disappointing. I'm like, you've got talented people to do this. It's like, get some fucking writers, man. Get some people in there. Marvel can pull it off with all kinds of different writers.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is so hard.
Part of me wonders with the Marvel writers if they're just not really comic book fans, and so they do an intense amount of research to actually do justice. And with Star Wars writers are like, oh, I've loved Star Wars my whole life. I've seen like 2 of the movies a couple times. And they're like, oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Obviously what we had with Brian Johnson, but so anyway, that's all I had for news.
I'm not surprised at all.
News.
It's time to PORKINS by the way.
Hey! Woo, again.
I don't know if y'all know this, but in the 1970s, India cinema overtook America as the world's largest film producer, and the term Bollywood was coined.
Really?
In fact, Bollywood produces around 1,000 films every year, almost double the output of Hollywood.
Suck it, Hollywood. Suck it.
I did not know that.
There's a reason for that.
That's a lot of dance numbers.
That's a crap load of dance numbers. Now you know why they just borrowed the jokes from one film to another. Oh, wait, we haven't talked about stuff. It's time for the review!
Star Wars number 2 came out.
All is well!
All is well!
All is well! Gentlemen, we are here today to discuss 3 idiots. And the only reason why you know we're not talking about ourselves is because the answer is 3 and not 4.
You're the 3. Ha, gotcha.
And 5 is right out. We are, that was another piece of news you missed on there. You missed on Terry of Monty Python. Not Terry Gilliam, the other Terry passed away this week. We forgot to bring that up.
Terry Jones?
Terry Jones. Come on, Brian, let's go to the stoning. That one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
R.I.P., bro.
Yeah.
Funny guy.
They're all dropping.
3 idiots.
Moment of silence.
So we're doing some Bollywood.
That was enough.
We had a moment.
Specifically, we're doing a movie called 3 Idiots.
3 idiots.
Wow.
You can find it on Netflix.
Garrick.
And go.
Garrick. Garrick. The next time we do a movie suggestion of yours, no matter how quickly I seize
he's
on
not
it
getting
stupidly.
another movie suggestion.
Not 3
come
hours.
on.
I don't
Come on,
like
guys.
3
Is it the
hour
last
movies.
10 movies he's picked has been 2.5 hours plus?
At least.
At
2.5,
least.
yeah. This one was
You
what,
guys
241,
loved it.
250.
Shut up. You loved it. It was the best movie ever.
I sat down to watch a comedy that, like, literally the description was like, in the spirit of Ferris Bueller. And I'm like,
Which
oh,
is
okay. So
not-
I'm like,
not
John
even
Hughes
close.
did not try to crap on an entire day of my life. This film,
170 minutes.
first
I
off,
tried
I
to-
just want
I
to say,
tried
I
to-
just want to say, I like this movie.
I did too.
Now,
I've seen it twice.
now,
I
I need to
saw,
wipe my
I
ass
like.
with it a
You
lot.
saw it twice?
Yeah. This movie's great. Are you kidding me? Got comedy.
Who has
Got
that kind of
drama.
time during the day?
It's got everything.
got dance numbers.
Thing.
Literally
Got-
the other night, last night,
Got
I got
underwear.
home. I got home from
Suicide.
having dinner with my family.
Got
I went
Knocking
up.
on doors.
I went up into the room. I turned on. I'm
Electrocution.
gonna watch this movie. I turn it on. I lay down in bed. I'm gonna watch this movie, and then I'm gonna get up and play games with my friends
Men
until I go to
dropping their
bed.
pants
And,
a lot.
and I
Yeah.
realized I paused the movie an
Lot of
hour
crying.
in,
Lot
and
of
then
crying.
and then I texted Garrick, Howie, and Mike. Went 3 hours. Damn it, Garrick! Because I did
Yes.
not
Ah,
have any idea that this kind of movie would try to be a freaking.
Same with me, man. I tried to do my family
Ben-Hur.
duties last night. Got the kids showered and homework done.
you act
and
like I just gave
all
you
that
this movie
stuff.
like
and
2
I
days
laid
ago.
down about 10 o'clock.
was
and I'm
literally
like,
like
I'm
5
just
days
gonna-
ago.
I'm gonna knock out this Bollywood movie.
I did not know I was
You
only
don't
halfway.
knock out a Bollywood movie.
I didn't
Like,
realize-
I didn't know this.
I was
had
only
no idea.
I was only halfway through the movie until the word interval went across the screen, and I'm like, interval.
Intermission.
Yeah, it's intermission.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that's actually I read about this. This is the thing now. Like they break their movies into intervals.
wow.
Commonly.
Yeah, they're all
Because
like 3 hours
They can't
long or
make
more.
a part 1 and 2, a sequel.
Yeah.
No, they have to
No.
do
They
it
have
all in
to-
one.
yeah, they
Which
have to kill
honestly,
all of us.
this movie was two different timelines. It could have potentially been two different movies.
It could have been like It. You could like It. Where they're-
No, it was like The Godfather 2, man. That's what it
and
was.
It where they're grown ups.
It was
It
The
too.
Godfather Part 2, except all the scenes were the ones in Havana.
I swear though that
Nice.
they
Nice.
filmed this 3-hour movie in less than a week.
Probably.
I'm not going to lie to you.
I think
I'm
they filmed
thinking-
How do
this
you
3-hour
crank
movie
out-
in about
how do-
30 minutes.
How do
Yeah.
they crank out 1,000 movies a year if they take longer than that?
They just reuse scenes
Well, I mean-
over and over.
Like that all as well.
It's like
number.
Iron Eagle, man. You
Like,
just reuse.
all when they were doing the whistles, they
Top
were not
Gun
on the
footage, man.
whistle.
Oh, no, they're
They're
not.
completely off.
They
You know
have-
that was just one take. We're done.
Yeah, they are not
No,
doing take after
nobody's
take.
singing. Nobody sings their own songs or whistles their own whistles.
Yeah, they're not even attempting to get it
Nope.
lined up
Nope.
right. Nope. And that's not the point.
So the point. So the
Yeah,
reason
Garrick,
I
what's the point? What's the point
the
in all this?
backstory is,
42?
like-
Don't tell me that.
backstory of this. So like I work with a lot of people from India
Mhm.
and really closely. Like so they keep suggesting movies I see and they show me clips and they all look not good. So I asked, okay, I'll watch one, but it has to be one that, I want to watch like a comedy or something. So one of the guys at work suggested I watch this movie. So I decided to drag you all into it with me
Yeah, thank you.
because I didn't want to watch it alone.
You bastard.
But I ended up really liking
respect
it.
that,
I
though.
did
watched,
too.
I
I'm
watched
still
it
mad at
twice.
you, but I liked it.
I'll say what I saw of it I liked.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's worth finishing, but for all the stuff, the reason why the movie's long is because a lot of Bollywood movies, I find, try to cram everything in the kitchen sink into the story. Like you can't leave anything out. It's not like Hollywood. They're like, all right, page 13, you got to hit this highlight. Page 60, you got to hit this highlight. They're like, what else can we fit
Yeah,
into the story?
left out?
And so like this is first and foremost a comedy, but it's both.
Yes.
It's like a coming of age comedy of sorts, family drama, high melodrama, tragedy, multiple current suspense. I mean, it's trying
Love story.
love story. It's
I'm sure there's horror in there somewhere.
everything. Horror might be the one genre they didn't really approach. You know,
I don't know. The headmaster is
know.
pretty scary.
Peeing on an electric fence, man.
yeah. You mean an electric spoon?
Electric
Yeah.
spoon. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't understand.
That's horror to me.
Was he wearing metal shoes? How did that current go
I
through
don't
him?
understand.
No, he didn't because
It's a
P
stream.
conducts
The stream was
electricity.
constant.
They've
But
proven
it
that
has to-
on Mythbusters. They've proven that this can't happen.
I
But
know.
yeah,
You
the
can't break the
electricity
stream.
can't just go up the P unless it's attracted, pulled through, and goes out into something else because it travels the
And
path of
also,
least resistance.
your pee is not a stream; it's a bunch of dribbles.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
if you slow mo,
movie magic.
record
It's movie
yourself
magic.
That-
peeing.
Even if it was a stream, it wouldn't go up the stream unless you were connected like with some sort of conductive material to something where the electricity wants to go. It doesn't go one way. It has to keep going. Electricity has to go into you and then out of you. If you're wearing shoes, odds are you're good.
Well, Ren and Stimpy taught us that we should not
Don't
pee on the electric
fence.
Nice.
Shout out to my boy Merrill who taught me about Ren and Stimpy before I had cable.
Nice.
Ren and
Nice.
So the shortest,
Don't whiz on the
Don't whiz on the
the
electric
shortest
fence, yes.
musical number in this was 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Everything. It's not just that the movie's long. Everything in the movie's long. Like there's so many scenes where I'm like, I got it.
What was your favorite
7
song
musical numbers.
out of the
Total length of all the musical numbers was a half hour.
Nice.
All is well is good, except for the fact that
I like
there's just
Zooby Dooby.
yeah. I think
I
the
love
Zooby.
Zooby
I think
Dooby.
that's my favorite
That was
one.
great.
Because
I
all is
love
well is
Zooby
good, but there's like the giant like overdone drums the whole time are just obnoxious, even though the song is
Yeah.
fun. But Zooby was actually, or whatever it's called, Zooby Dooby was actually a catchy number.
It sounded like a 1950s barroom song almost in some respects.
It sounded close to a Broadway approximation of that, which
Yeah.
is I mean, that's the standard, right? But like that song, this is another thing that sometimes I don't like about Bollywood. They're like, someone goes, at this point, we need a song, but we're doing a story over here. I don't care. We need this.
Song.
We need a song right now. Okay, end scene or stop the scene in the middle. And just suddenly have a chick sitting on her bed daydreaming we've completely hit the ripped the e-brake to justify her daydreaming this song, and then somehow resume. We're back in the car going the same speed we were going before we ripped the e-brake.
No, I loved it. It was great.
It's
The
jarring.
choreography on that song was like with Bollywood. The choreography is just insane.
Well, their choreography over there includes like body movements that from our standards look awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, which also lends to being maybe hard to pull off. Like it looks awkward, but also hard in some. It's like it's not like something you have to train your whole life to do, but it's something that would be really tricky to do, like real tricky to learn in the moment. So, which is why some of them clearly didn't. But they're fun spectacles. They really are.
Yeah, yeah. Like so, this movie was the highest grossing movie of the time before when it first
90
came
million.
out. 90 million up until a
88.
point when another movie beat it. But I don't know, man. I watched the whole movie the first time, and yes, I see all the flaws you guys are talking about, but I just felt good at the end. Like everything
it's
about
straight up a
there's-
feel-good movie.
there's a dude
When you
hung
get past all
himself.
the suicides and stuff.
Yeah, but at the end you're like, wow, it's utterly predictable. I mean, utterly there's
completely.
tropes everywhere. But just I need something simple like that every now and then,
Sure.
just to make me feel good. And I'm like, yeah,
Well,
that was good.
How-
Yeah, with
Yeah,
your
we're-
free booze and food. Too,
Howie and I
right?
were talking about this earlier, and
Free
I
booze
said,
and food.
especially when it comes to comedy, all of the very few Bollywood movies that I've seen that are comedies, like they borrow really basic jokes and humor from things that I'm already like.
Oh yeah,
I already
They had
consider-
cartoon sound effects.
Yeah. Oh, well, like not just that, but like jokes and tropes and things that I'm like, this isn't fresh. But then I go, wait a minute. Almost all of the comedies that we get here now are just riffing and improv. They do 47 takes and pick the funniest one because
Yeah, they're
no
just
one
fart
can
jokes.
write an original comedic script that well anymore. So I'm like, all right, they're borrowing stuff because they're still trying to do an actual scripted film, but I can't fault them that, Actually,
Yeah,
one of the things I
there's-
pointed out that bothered me is right away the whole thing about the astronaut pen. It was like, oh, the astronaut pen. And then, the genius, well, why didn't they just use a pencil? And everyone laughs uproariously. I'm like, because the graphite breaks off and it plays hell with the electronics. Don't we all know this? Now, the movie came out in 2008. But I feel like this is like an old bit. You see this like an email.
Well, that part was in 1998. So maybe.
Okay. But like you used to get all these email forwards with like the dumb, like, oh, this is how someone outsmarted someone else stories. And this was one of those tropes that would fall into that. And so I was like,
but they rectified that later.
But I knew that. Like, I'm like, by doing this now, I'm going to find out the part that I already know later, and it'll be some big emotional justified moment. And I'll be like, well, that would have landed better if it were something original.
There were parts, like, speaking of emotions, like when he was I can't remember the character's name, but the one who wanted to be the wildlife photographer.
Yes.
And he realizes that he doesn't want to be an engineer anymore. And he goes to see his dad. That whole speech to his dad, I thought was really good.
Yeah. That was when we crossed over into high melodrama.
Yeah.
One of the couple of times.
Which was high melodrama, but it's done really well.
They did it well, but yet it's still jarring how much it changes. It's jarring to me. You know what I mean? Because I am not the target audience necessarily. And so I'd say, yeah, it's hard for me to, it got easier as the movie went on. I think I was just getting numb. The edges were getting, filed off. Yeah. But okay. So what's this movie actually about?
So this movie is about 3 kids, I guess, who would go to a engineering college that only accepts like a handful of people every year. And most of them go there because that's what their parents want and that's what's expected of them.
Yep.
If they get in to become engineers. So, like speaking of working with Indian people or people from India, I talked with the guy who suggested this movie. I was like, now how much is that is real? He's like, oh yeah, people commit suicide all the time. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So you got this social pressure, I guess, and this is kind of a movie about a handful of kids who are able to buck that social pressure and go above it or beyond it. Or something.
Beyond it is probably a good phrase.
Yeah.
And they've got their one friend who is really, honestly, at its core, this story is about Indian engineer Jesus.
It's about friendship.
It's about Indian engineer Jesus. It is not about friendship. They practically hero worship him. And there's one friend, and it jumps back and forth in time.
He's like, what's that movie with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon?
Oh, Beautiful Mind. No,
the other one where he's real smart.
Slumdog
Boston Robin Williams.
Boston guys.
I didn't like it then. I don't like it now.
How about them apples?
Yeah, that one. Apple.
He's like that guy.
Yeah. Except nicer. Yeah. And he teaches everyone a life lesson in the whole movie. And also he's better than everyone at everything. And also he can bring people back from the dead. So he's Indian engineer Jesus. But to touch on what you were saying about like those pressures, like I worked with a score of Indian engineers in a previous job where it was an engineering facility. It was where I worked. And we had a joint venture with a major company in India, and they would send people over like 6 months at a time. Sometimes people come over for like a month, but we had a lot of dudes who were just in-house from there. And some of them would bring their families with them. A lot of them didn't have families. And I was talking to Howie about this. I said, it's kind of funny because the movie also points out, like, the main character's pointing out, like, you're not teaching us engineering. You're just teaching us how to memorize stuff. Like, you're not teaching us how to think and blah, blah, blah. And I said, the funny thing is we had dudes come over that were like top marks dudes. Like they would have been the top people, like, like Silencer, the guy that they call Silencer in the film.
Yeah.
Like they were like, we had like some of the best and brightest. They would get over here. And these guys knew everything they'd ever learned. And we struggled so hard to get them to help us solve new problems. We knew they had high education, everything like that, but we had dudes working for us who were total idiot morons with no social skills whatsoever. Like people who lived here, are from here with, a U.S. education, complete morons who could do these jobs and solve these problems better than these brilliant guys. But then there were a few, like it was a few and far between, where they get one who was both. He was top marks dude, whatever, but also brilliant at these problem solving things.
Oh, that was Rancho.
Yeah, well, kind of like Rancho in the movie. And I remember one guy stands out in particular. He brought his family over with him, and we were talking to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're the happiest we've ever been in our whole lives. We love it here." Blah blah blah. And we're like, "Dude, why don't you quit and just work for us? Like, quit them and stay here and work for us." And he absolutely couldn't do it because of the shame it would put on his extended family.
Oh,
because they
that's
gave up
crazy.
everything for him to go to work for this, to go to school, go to work for the company he worked for.
Different.
And now his loyalty was to the company that he worked for, and by extension, his family. And the dude, every time we bring, he'd almost tear up. He'd almost come to tears anytime, because random people who didn't know would come by, and I sat near him, would come up and say the same thing all the time. And it was so hard for him because he wanted so desperately, you could tell, to do that. He wanted to stay, but yeah, it was interesting. We had just these guys who just knew everything except how to solve a problem. And it made me think about that challenge in this movie where the guy's like, "You're teaching us to just repeat what you've already done. You're not teaching us to do new things."
Yeah. Just memorize the book and graduate and get a job just like everybody else.
Yeah. Just get in line and do what you do.
I mean, I think I told you when we were standing out on the porch before the podcast that I can see how this movie, to me, what I saw was entertaining and all that stuff, but these are themes and things that I think we've all seen before. It's not groundbreaking, anything like that, but from a cultural perspective, I think, which is what you guys are alluding to, that, from the Indian perspective, right? I mean, these are a lot more cutting edge to them because of these types of things.
10 years ago, especially.
Well, yeah, 10 years ago. But even me, I remember when I was in high school I worked at a local sporting goods store, and I worked with a guy who was Indian. And I just remember this guy, he'd always say, because we were in high school at the same time, high school, college age. And he was always telling me about the pressure that his family put on him. They want him to go to medical school.
Yeah, I heard the same thing from my Indian friends when I was young.
And this guy played guitar. All he wanted to do was be a guitar player and be a musician.
Yeah.
I mean, he just wanted to be an
like
artist.
The guy in the movie who wants to be a photographer.
Yeah, totally. And this kid, he had totally grown up in the States. He didn't have an Indian accent, anything. I mean, he was as American can be, right? Right. So but I can see, how the themes in this movie really would touch, that audience that, their population is going through those types of, things where you've got, family pressures versus, you're, a country coming into
a family that's sacrificing more than we would even expect our families to have sacrificed for us, sacrificing more so that their son, specifically, could achieve more than they had, or maintain the level of achievement in case of one of the other characters in the story.
Yes, right.
So anyway. So this dude, he bucks all the trends. He challenges the teachers and the professors and the director of the school, and they all kind of loathe him. But turns out he's also brilliant, and he tests better than anybody in the school, even though he doesn't take any of it super seriously.
Yep.
But yeah. You're going down this goofy thing in this big musical number in the showers, and they're bathing in these big 50-gallon drums and scratching themselves while they sit on these giant butt chairs and just all this goofy stuff. Chairs. But then also, dude hangs himself.
Yeah, right after that, happy number.
Yeah,
oh boy,
dude's just.
Yeah, like this guy finds out, the director's like, "Hey, your project sucks. I'm kicking you out." He's like, "But I'm almost done. I almost built a drone that any kid could buy at a store and build at home." And he's like, "Is it ready?"
Not at that time.
Not at that time.
Maybe not. I don't know.
It was 1998.
You're right. At 1990, you're right. In 1998, that would have been groundbreaking. But or to some degree, but yeah, he's like, "Oh, you're not done. I'm not giving you an extension. I'm kicking you out of school." And Rancho, he throws his drone in the garbage, and Rancho's like, "Hey, I'll make it work for him. I'm going to be a cool guy. He's pretty close." Makes it work. Flies up, sees and the drone camera gets the dude just hanging in his dorm, and I'm like, "What the hell?"
He just wrote "I quit" on his wall.
Yeah, he wrote "I quit" on his wall, hung himself, and you see it by the drone going up the windows, which. is clever because it's jarring. At that point, everybody's happy. He's flying this, Rancho's running out, flying this drone that this guy had, and he's got it working. It's a big moment, and they're going up to the roof, and as you're just passing up.
First you see the silencer dancing around in his American flag Speedo or something.
Yeah, in one of the rooms. And it goes up another floor, and dead guy hanging, depressed guy hanging dead, even though here his drone works, and maybe everything would have worked out, but nope, he killed himself. And it's like, good damn, Bollywood, what you doing to me right now?
Why Bollywood?
Throwing my emotions about like this.
Yeah.
And then it's a slow motion run up the stairs because they're all, they're trying to get to him and get him down and stuff. And it's just like, oh my God, we just jumped genres.
And I love I guess I love and loathe the school president, director, or whatever, principal.
Yeah. I can't tell you whether I hate him or really liked him a lot. I mean, he was a cartoon character for crying out loud.
His lisp was awesome.
The lisp he would stick his tongue completely out of his mouth for his S's.
Yep.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's wearing like an old Southern slave owner shirt and pants. And
it's like Colonel Sanders.
Well,
with a shirt sleeve button
He
up.
takes a 7-minute nap at 2:00 every day.
Yeah.
7-minute naps. 7-minute naps.
7-minute nap. Power nap.
And
then
has
his guy shave him while he's asleep because it's peak efficiency.
Yeah. And he has a shirt with buttons, but he uses Velcro.
Yeah, they're Velcros.
To get dressed.
And then a clip-on tie.
Yep.
Clip-on tie.
Efficiency.
A tie with a hook.
A tie with a hook.
Yeah. But he's like the main, I guess, antagonist of the whole movie. And
is he?
Yeah.
2/3 of the movie.
He's representing the social antagonist.
Yeah, he is. He's like the embodiment
of
the
culture is the antagonist.
The culture. Yeah.
Very well implied, Howie.
Very well implied. Like Rancho basically blames him for killing the dude with the pressure he was putting on him
at the funeral.
The way they justify,
the
way they mystify this Rancho character, who is like better than anyone ever is about anything in every way. He's like I said, Indian engineer Jesus. Is that the movie actually doesn't start at this point. The movie starts forward in time, where these guys are out of school, they're alive, you know what I mean? And they find out that someone's located their friend. And their friend that they haven't seen in 5 years or something? The
first scene is he's on the plane.
Yeah, the main character's on a plane. This other guy's on the plane, getting ready to take off, and he just fakes a seizure. And they have to land the plane. Yeah, heart attack. He's got drool comes out. They land the plane. They're wheeling him out, and he just gets up and runs off.
He does some calisthenics. He's like, "All right, feeling good. Bye."
I was thinking, like, from reading the synopsis of the film, that it was actually the phone call he got was that he had to do a prank or something like that, and it was one of those things where, like, no matter what, you got to do it, bro. But it wasn't the case. He actually just needed to get off the plane before he flew back to wherever he's working, because they got word that their friend has been located that they haven't seen in 5-10 years. And so the whole plot is we're going to go find him and you don't know this because the movie goes back and forth in time relatively appropriately. It's a little weird a couple times, but what you find is while you're doing that, you're getting the story of this guy and why he's so important to them. Even though you don't know how he disappeared or when or why he left, you start seeing how this guy's having this profoundly impact on their lives. You know what I mean? And so you start to learn, like, oh, this guy was larger than life. He was, like, almost unreal. In fact, that becomes that's part of the plot of the film.
Yeah.
At one point, they're questioning, wait, what? Did he even exist?
Yeah.
Or you
that
are
was
as the
great.
viewer.
I love that whole scene.
Yeah.
They're just looking at the picture.
They're going back. They're looking. Yeah, they go to where they think he lives. They find a different guy, and they go. And all their school pictures are up on the wall. Yeah, it's the same name. All their school pictures are up on the wall, but their friend is not there. It's this guy that's at the house that they just came to that's not their friend. And they're just like staring at it like, what the hell's going on? And there's actually a very practical explanation for it. But in the film, even as a viewer, you're watching and you're going, wait,
what?
Because he is better than any person could be in most ways. So you're almost wondering, like, is this some sort of like psychotic break that both these guys had, or what?
That was probably the only part where I was surprised.
Yes.
In the whole movie. I was like, whoa, wait, what?
The whole lead up, like
What?
the whole 30-second lead up to the reveal, I wasn't surprised. The hand going up to the shoulder with the head facing the other way. I'm like, well, it's clearly not going to be him.
Yeah.
Also,
right.
that guy had darker complexion. That was pretty easy to notice. But yeah, the whole thing with the pictures on the wall, that I was just like, okay, I
I'm like, what
clearly
is
don't
going
know
on?
what's going on.
And I'm like, oh yeah, they got the wrong guy with the exact same name, but then they saw the picture. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. At first, you're like, wrong guy, same name. Then you see the picture, and you're like, okay, something else is afoot.
Yeah.
So there is a greater conspiracy, which they reveal to you pretty quickly, because each act of this 30-act film is a contained story. Like, other than the fact that Rancho's great, and also in the future we want to find him, there's not really themes that continue throughout. It's like you're hitting like parable after parable after parable, to borrow a biblical phrase, a pseudo-biblical phrase, just because I'm still dwelling on the whole engineering Jesus thing. But I like that. I like the fact that, what? This isn't him? Okay, 5 minutes later, we've closed that. We know why. We know what happened. We're moving on. I actually appreciate that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And the whole scene the guy pulls a gun because they figure out his secret. That he, that somehow it didn't earn his education and his degree that are hanging on the wall. These pictures are fake. And he pulls out the largest .22 rifle I've ever seen. But the tiniest
what was it? Was that a shotgun? What was that?
The tiniest bullets in this monster rifle. I'm like, is that a 22? And then pulls a rifle on them, and then they steal his recently deceased father's ashes and threaten to pour him in the toilet. And then, for no good reason, realize halfway through that they grabbed the wrong urn. There's no ashes,
totally
and so
empty.
now they're just trying to fake it. And I'm like, okay, that's fun. Like, that's actually the urn in the toilet, the ashes in the toilet. That's funny. But the fact that they actually have an empty urn actually added a nice creative twist to that. I liked it. That was a good scene.
Yeah.
But then the guy tells him, all right, don't flush daddy, which I think is an actual phrase in the film. It's hard to remember what was in English and what was in Hindi throughout
That was very interesting, because they went back and forth between English and Hindi
which I've heard dudes do. I just assumed that the 20% English that I've heard was because they were in America and they were just milking the English a little more, and that they didn't speak it as much over there, despite, British imperialism and all that crap. But I'm going, okay, maybe for certain people of certain classes and, certain jobs or whatever, maybe it is pretty common to just dance in and out, just constantly.
Yeah. It didn't make any sense. Like, it wasn't just like borrowed words from English. It was like full English sentences. And then immediately, like, half of it would be in Hindi and half would be in English. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, like a quote.
How do they decide what's going to be in English and what's not?
I did notice that anything that was a quote from an English or a more popularly English source, they would say in English. Not exclusively that, but that's just something that stood out to me. And also the quotes were oftentimes one or two words wrong. But hey,
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? You're in the ballpark, and I can barely speak any Spanish, and so there you go. But yeah, it was a good film.
Yeah.
What? No, I'm confused.
But
What
not
does Spanish have to do with any of this?
Because I'm not bilingual, is what I'm saying, and they clearly are multilingual. So
I was really trying to figure out the Spanish twist.
They didn't offer Hindi in high school, so I took
Spanish. What's the word for Spanglish when you have English and
English,
I guess.
English. There you go.
I looked it up.
That would have been my first assumption.
Right.
So good on
There's a word.
Good on it.
There is. It's in Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Look it up.
It's a good film. I really liked all the main actors and the actresses, and I don't know. I mean,
the guy who plays Rancho is like a really, really famous Bollywood actor.
Yes.
Apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He almost looks like he's part Japanese. I was telling Howie that he reminds me of the dude who's the chairman on the American version of Iron Chef.
He's got a really weird kind of dude beard now.
Well, yeah,
A dude beard.
Dude, it's 2020, bro.
I don't know. No, it's
there's no one in this room without a beard.
It's
the super thin.
Yeah.
That's real hot with the Indian dudes now. The guy who was on Heroes, I've seen him with that beard.
Well,
too.
he was on Heroes, so
yeah,
he was.
Name's Amir.
He was on Heroes?
Khan? Amir? Is it Amir?
What are you driving at, Howie?
it's the same dude.
No, it's not the same dude.
Look it up.
I don't want to. Was he on a different season of Heroes? I didn't watch because there were.
I'm kidding, but you don't know if I'm kidding. Now you're like,
I actually from the pregnant pause that you took, I was pretty sure whatever was coming out of your mouth was BS.
yes.
Because I felt like you were trying to figure out what direction can I drag this in the most easily, and then you just chucked it in the fountain and ran off. Because that's how mall you are.
That's how mall I am.
You're mall AF.
Hey, fun fact.
Yeah.
Cool. Facts.
India ranks 21st in as a country in suicide rate.
Really? They said like the 8th or something in the movie, didn't they? Or
Well, after this movie, it went down.
That was 2008, Corey.
No, that was 1998.
the rest of us really picked up our suicide game.
They are 16.3 suicides per 100,000 is where they're at. We are ranked 27th.
Oh, we're coming after you, India.
At
USA.
15.3. 15.3
Well, who's number one?
per 100.
Japan.
Lithuania.
And
31.9.
Lithuania?
who's
per capita?
who's number 2?
Russia.
Who's number 3? Where's Japan?
14th.
14th.
18.5.
Oh, wow. This is
Now,
morbid.
Maybe Japan's got the highest suicide
No,
rate per
I-
cost of living or something
This
like
is
that.
now let's look at those countries at their number of suicides per year. So Lithuania ranked number 1, but has 894 per year.
Yeah.
Japan has 23.5 thousand
Whoa, 23 and a half
Wow.
grand.
per year.
Yeah.
India, or no, let's do United States. United States is not listed, but I looked up on another source and it's a little over 40,000.
Okay.
Wow, that's terrible.
India,
We're a lot bigger.
220,000.
India's
Oh,
a lot bigger too.
Yep.
So that, but it does paint India and
It's an interesting just kind of look on the stats there.
yeah.
So if you look by, I think they are the number or close to the highest, at least in this listing that I have here.
I'd be interested to know specifically like the number 1 in like, like college age. and
Yeah,
stuff
if they
like that.
ranked it by age group. And,
Yeah, just because in this movie the whole thing is about family pressures on your,
Yep.
and stuff like. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
because it was very heavily implied if you failed out of school, you failed life.
Yeah, this movie is
Itself.
uplifting, guys. We swear.
Yeah, it's really funny.
I
Some
mean,
points.
yes, there's a giant dramatic scene with a stillborn baby. Sure.
Well, remember,
sure.
it's 3 hours long, and they got 45 minutes of not uplifting stuff, 30 minutes of song.
Yep.
So the rest of it
The
is
rest of it's more or less
Yeah.
uplifting. Yeah.
The intro is about 5 minutes.
There's a lot of dude butts of various color underwear.
underwear. Yeah.
Man buttons.
No nudity.
No,
It's-
no.
Was it, what was the rating? Was there a rating?
I don't know.
Uh,
What's the Indian rating system?
probably be about PG 13.
Peggy 13.
Peggy
I was used
13.
the British video
I think they
game ratings.
probably completely abandoned that on purpose.
Oh, see, you see what happened.
Mhm.
It's ultimately it's a mixture of like a coming of age college movie and also like a little bit of a road film, depending on what
Yeah.
time you're in.
And make sure you have a nose
road
plug.
trip
Yeah,
Need a nose plug
you
for
need a
that
nose
road trip.
plug just hanging from the window because
or earplugs.
And
because
earplugs.
silencer. I do love the fact that their name for their not buddy who takes like pills to help him study that give him gas. I love the fact that their name for him is Silencer.
Well, yeah, and he's the one who pulled the guys together, said he found Rancho.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause-
And
That's,
'cause the
that's
whole-
a bait and switch a little third of the way into the
yeah,
film.
Yeah, because the whole crux of the road trip is he, like when they were in college, he bet Rancho that he would be more successful in 10 years than he would, because he was more by the book, where Rancho is more like out there.
Yeah, Rancho is more about like adaptive learning and stuff like that. And this guy was all about just he didn't even speak Hindi. He would just memorize things that he didn't understand. And stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that.
whole speech that he gave.
Yeah, that was probably my least favorite scene in the film. Because he's getting up, this guy that they don't like. Okay, so he's having the school librarian help him write a speech in high Hindi to introduce the director when the minister of education or whatever is visiting. And for whatever reason, he's the one giving the speech, right? So he gets the librarian to help him write it. And the librarian's trying to go, do you understand this? So he's like, I don't know it, but it's okay. I'll just memorize it. Because that's what he does. His whole thing is he just memorizes what he's supposed to. And so he gets up and he starts delivering. They replaced words like served with screwed and stuff. So he gets up and he's delivering the speech, and it's very insulting. And he's doing it so animatedly and over the top because that's a thing. And everybody's laughing uproariously. And this dude never thinks for a moment, maybe I don't know what I'm saying. It never occurs to him that maybe there's a problem because he delivers
wrote
the
it
whole
so good that it's a bunch of
speech.
jokes. It's the jokes.
They weren't jokes, though. That's the thing.
But he didn't know that they weren't jokes because remember, he doesn't know what it says.
Well, no, he wrote the speech, but had the librarian guy translate it to high Hindi and write it.
Oh, I missed that part.
So,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of things I missed.
But that scene was hard to swallow because I was like, all right, in literally any other movie, the guy's got to get frustrated in the middle of the speech and quit. But no, this guy gave the whole speech. And I'm just like, okay, we're committing to this one. All right, fair enough. But yeah, that's a minor complaint. My bigger complaint would be it's just my Western taste. This film was an hour and this is a 90-minute film.
No way, you gotta have songs, dude.
Man, 90 minutes might have been too long.
That sounds like a dream to me.
90 minutes would have been enough to get all of this out. There were so many scenes
It's
that
more like 75 minutes.
I would actually say just about every single scene was simply 50% more than it needed to be. In an American film, this would have been considered horrible editing because it's just there's so much that could have been left on the floor and lost nothing at all.
Get your money's worth.
But that's the thing. If maybe they're not out to have a concise
I'm pretty
to the
sure
point thing. Maybe they're out to just we're going to go out for the whole evening. We're going to eat, see a movie, and we want it to be a whole big experience. That's cool too. Whatever.
That's what all Bollywood movies.
Yeah,
I don't think they left
usually 3
anything
hours
on the
long.
editing floor. I think they used all.
I love how the two people who didn't finish the movie are the ones who don't like it. What's that?
By the Blu-ray, there's no deleted scenes.
Yeah, there was no room on the Bluray for the deleted scenes.
There's 2 Blu-rays.
They ran out of gigabytes.
No, I actually I enjoyed it for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like where you're at, Corey. The only reason I didn't finish it was because I started watching it. It was 2 a.m. and I had to stop because I have to go to sleep to get to work the next day. And
You don't have to.
No, I've seen him. He has to.
yeah.
Yeah,
Garrick.
I think this film is worth the watch. Here's the thing. My wife could never sit through 5 minutes. In fact, every time she walked through the room while I was watching it, she would just yell out obnoxious things that she just heard, like phonetically. She was pretty much like, the lyrics to the song.
Doobie-doobie?
Yeah, no, the song that we opened with, the Girly Man. But,
Oh yeah, girly man.
But yeah, like she just that's something I actually wanted to say. This movie is noisy as frack. Oh my gosh. The casual soundtrack behind every scene is pretty much people banging on drums as hard as they can.
Oh yeah.
Synthetic string instruments screeching at top volume. I had to volume jockey this like crazy. If there wasn't dialogue happening,
I didn't have that problem. So you were talking about, I don't know, maybe it was your speakers.
no, but I'm sure partially, yeah, I don't have the best setup up in my bedroom, but the other part of it is that it was intensity. It's not just volume. The intensity of music during casual scenes was insane. You
just don't like music.
I'm just like,
Yeah, Corey doesn't like music. Music's the best.
Yeah, seriously.
down with this.
You hate John Williams is what I hear.
Oh, Corey hates John Williams?
Yeah,
Oh.
you guys keep trying. You've never even been to his house.
Nope.
I'm not sure if I have
See?
or haven't.
Not yet. Not
See?
yet.
I might have, and you don't know.
Exactly, though.
I have been, actually.
No, you haven't.
Mhm.
Oh, he has.
No.
Oh, he went there.
All 3 of them.
Nope.
History has it.
Joke's on you. He has 4. One's a trailer,
Oh.
and his family doesn't know about it, but everybody's got to get away sometimes.
But it ain't a house. It's a trailer.
Speaking of getting away, let's tie this up.
Hey.
Mike wakes up.
Yes.
I think it was a pretty good film. If you want to, and I think your coworkers, your friends and coworkers set you right, Garrick. I'm like, if you want to ease yourself into a Bollywood film, I guess this is a pretty good one to do it with.
They knew my sensibilities.
Yeah,
it's on Netflix and Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So if you have a subscription to both or either one of those, you can look it up.
Exactly. Like you can watch this movie and you'll see the differences, in just about every way. But it also is a comedy and a life story that I feel like most, I say Western in quotes now, because I'm not actually talking about Western hemisphere, but like Westernized country type of sensibility could, especially dudes, could probably identify with and appreciate quite a bit. So thank you, Garrick. And you suck. Next one has to be under 2 hours. All right.
Not possible.
I know.
I'm just.
You guys like
calling
martial
a
arts
spade a spade.
movies?
No,
Let's do
never.
some-
In the meantime, once you run out and do this thing and the stuff and follow us on the what, and I don't give the Twitter at FlyCasual1138. Where you'll find a link.
If you're gonna say anything,
YouTube.
no, just
Go-
say Discord.
Well, I say Twitter to get them to Discord. They can't.
No, they can get the Discord from our website.
Go to the
Anywhere.
website, betterkind.com, and join us on our Discord where we chat about all kinds of crap.
Don't go on
Twitter
Twitter.
is a toilet.
Yeah, Twitter is a toilet.
That's where I pee.
Careful, don't pee on the electric spoon.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. But
Twitter is
join us
one
on
big
Discord. Go to
electric spoon.
betterkind.com. That's our website. Find the link to Discord and join us there, because that's where we really like to hear from you guys. Also, like and subscribe and crap on our YouTube channel and wherever you get the podcast. Subscribe. Tell a friend if you're not afraid of them thinking less of you, to also become a listener of ours, because we always want to reach more people just like you. Especially if you don't get on the Discord, then find someone who will. God dang. Anyway.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, ring the bell or crap that Mike tells me to say. In the meantime, I'm Corey. Over there's Mike.
See ya.
Over there's Howie.
Antigua and Barbuda, 0.5.
Girly, man. Over Garrick.
I got some closing words here, guys.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Gosh, my old calculator ain't got no bow. Nipply man I met ate my motorboat. Calm down and park that comfy shin guard armor.
Yep.
Welcome the dude who ain't the buyer of mugs.
Yes.
Girly man.
Girly, man.
Mun.
Jelly.
Mun.